Thank you.
All right. How's everybody doing? Good. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Can you see me? I'm pointing to you. So, my name is Nloh Masango-Dibo. All right, I see the looks. Okay. So I'm gonna help you out. And so last name is pronounced exactly as it's spelled, but first name not exactly. And so there's law like Law and Order or law school. Okay. So I made that like back in elementary school when substitute teachers used to slaughter my name. And I carried it on with me and I use it still today. But when I made it, I realized like, okay, no one's ever gonna mess up my name again. Wrong. Even some of y'all messed it up yesterday. So, and that's when I made one realization. Because grown-ups are dumb. And grown-ups aren't dumb because of what they don't know. It's because of what we do know. See, I think Shakespeare said it best. He said the fool considers himself a wise man, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool, right? So because we live and we have our experiences, we think we have all the answers, because if they're true to us, they got to be true to everybody else, right? And I guess that thinking is fine if you are an individual, but when you are part of an institution, such as education, that becomes detrimental to the community that you're supposed to serve. And so, as higher ed professionals and college access agents, we get so caught up in our alumni, in our traditions, in our prestige, that we lose the focus on why we're actually here. And that's that fundamental base of education, is to train and educate students to go out in the community and leave it better than they found it. But we get lucky because every so once in a while, we'll get new waves and new generations who come in with new thoughts, and they make us question everything we ever thought was correct. And many of these movements and these new thoughts, they actually take place right on our campuses. And that's so important for pushing our society, but very important for pushing our youth as well. Because kids today are going through more than they've ever gone through in the past. And I know some of my old heads might cringe at that statement, but this is not to discredit anything that has come before us to make us all be in this room, but we have to realize the realities of today, okay? And so you can look anywhere. You can see that in Ohio, suicide is now the second leading cause of death for people ages 15 to 34, right? You have kids, especially in underserved communities, who have to skip adolescence and go from childhood to adulthood because of broken home structures. And the political structure has torn the country more than ever, right? So why does it matter to you guys? Because as admissions professionals, education is the only sustainable way that these students are going to improve their lives, okay? And so we have a key responsibility to assisting these students in mitigating those outside factors and helping them put education at their forefront. And so with all this baggage, I just want to give you guys some tools that I use every day that help me help students mitigate and go through this application process and college process. So first is to look for outliers. So I think we're all pretty familiar with the common outliers, such as maybe a decent test score, but maybe a high GPA, and we say, okay, that student maybe is just not a good test taker, right? But outliers can also be stories. Okay, so I remember reading an application, and this student had about mid GPA, okay test scores, but then in reading the essay, I found out that the student had just lost their father a month before taking that ACT. So now that GPA and that test score look vastly different, right? Be the holistic reviewer. So many of our institutions will have a holistic review where we'll tell students, send in everything, we're going to look at it all, but that doesn't work if you are not the holistic reviewer, if you don't buy into it as well. And so you got to dig a little deeper. So before admissions, I used to work in residence life, and I remember two things. One, I despise living with students. And two, you get to fill the void for students who come to school without. So you're a father or a mother to somebody who needs a role model, you're a big brother to somebody who got questions, and you're a friend to the loneliest of students, right? So I remember one student in particular, and this student struggled academically. And I always thought it was because he was just socially awkward and didn't have friends. So one day I see him in the cafeteria, I go sit by him, I'm like, put my cape on, you know, a superhero. And I'm like, I'm gonna go be his friend, okay? And so I'm sitting with him and we're talking, and through our conversation, I realized he did not care at all about friends, okay? See, his parents, his father and his older brother, who he looked up to, were both Army officers. And so he felt like his time in school was being wasted because he wasn't fulfilling his purpose. Well, now because I talked to him, I was able to put him in contact with some ROTC folks, and now gave school a purpose for him. And that's what we have to do as educators. And we're giving students a hand up and not a handout. And so this is really about switching your mindset, okay? We're not doing charity work. We're really changing students' lives and giving them an opportunity to progress. And my last one is don't be the chicken scooper at Chipotle. So we all know this person. You get in line, and they barely skim the top of the bowl. They'll get the chicken in a spoon, and they'll put some back in the pan and shake it off. They'll put it in your bowl. If a piece falls off, they'll put it back in the pan, right? So don't be that guy. You feel bad. You're almost offended because they can't take it home with them, right? It's not coming out of your check. Why are you acting like that, right? And so for all my professionals in the room, I need you guys to dig a little deeper and get into that bowl when working with students, okay? Because you're gonna come along, students, oh, it's not working? Okay, so it's cool, but this is GIF, right? So these kids are like paddling, and they're paddling hard, but that boat is sinking. Like, it's literally going up, yes, please. I'm gonna send it to you, it's cool. But the boat is steady sinking, right? But they think they got it under control. And you're going to come across these students. And when you do, they're going to need advocates and educators and not dumb grown-ups. Thank you.